Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. What's up, Morgan?
Good morning, good morning. How we feeling on a Monday?
Good.
Hey, girl.
Peace, Morgan.
Good morning. All right, love to hear that. I know everybody want to talk about Charlamagne, but I'm not going to get too much into that just yet. Like you said, you did a lot. You was in the headlines, my guy, this week. But let's talk about these Texas Dems. Okay, so Texas House Democrats have left the state in a bid to stop Republicans from advancing House maps that would give the GOP 5 more U.S. House seats and opportunities ahead of 2026. Now, the move would deny Republicans the minimum number of lawmakers needed present in order to be able to conduct legislation, also known as a quorum. Now, the move follows a marathon public hearing on the plan in the state capitol on Friday, which came less than a week after state Republican legislators proposed new maps. Now, the new map, which is aimed at adding 5 new Republican districts next year, passed on a 12-6 party line vote on Saturday. Now, that would shift the state's delegation from a 25-13 GOP majority to 30-8. Now, Democratic lawmakers argue the plan violates the Voting Rights Act by diluting Black and Hispanic voting power. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says fellow Democrats are closely watching the GOP-led redistricting effort in Texas and adds that they are backing state lawmakers who oppose it. Let's take a listen to his comments.
We're going to do everything possible to support the Texas legislators as they consider the best ways to push back. It's an all-hands-on-deck moment, and all options should be on the table to protect the people of Texas.
So basically, they fixing the fight, and Hakeem Jeffries, the only thing he can think to say is we're just closely watching the situation.
Well, yeah, but, he also, let me just disclaim, and I probably should have said this prior to the audio playing, is that he did say these comments prior to the Democrats leaving the state. So them leaving the state does not come without risk, though. They could face or would face a $500 daily fine and the threat of arrest. Now, Texas State Attorney General Ken Paxton also made these comments prior to them leaving, but he suggested last week that lawmakers be locked up in the state capitol for the rest of a special session, forcing them to sleep and eat in their offices in order to get the maps passed.
What does that mean, they leaving the state? What does that mean? I don't know.
So basically, they're in order. Okay, so you need a certain amount of Democrats in order to have a quorum, which means, okay, we have a certain amount of people who are here in our Congress or, the state legislature to be able to pass a law or pass a bill or move forward with a vote. And they don't have them because they have left the state. So some of them have traveled to Chicago, and then some of them have traveled to New York. And so they don't have a quorum, so thus a vote cannot happen. So the Black Information Network, of course, we're taking
I don't know what any of that means. I'm a low
IQ
IQ individual.
When they said
You don't have a...
they said when they just
I
have no idea what it means.
That's how it begins. The Black Information Network, of course, is also watching this closely because it's not just about politics, but it's about whether Black communities can elect leaders who reflect their voice in federal decision making. So basically, Texas Democrats are trying to protect Black and brown voters, making sure that they still have a voice. It's pretty much what that boils down to. Elsewhere in other news, federal officials are investigating the former Department of Justice prosecutor who oversaw cases against President Trump. The U.S. Office of Special Counsel announced on Saturday it's investigating Jack Smith for possibly violating a law that bars federal officials from engaging in political party or attempting to influence elections. Now, Smith prosecuted 2 cases against Trump, one centering around allegations Trump tried to block former President Biden's 2020 election victory, and another where Trump was accused of mishandling classified documents. Now, neither case went to trial, and Smith resigned from the DOJ shortly before Trump's inauguration this year. But yes, so now he is under investigation for those cases that he brought against Trump.
Yeah, we knew Jack Smith was on the revenge list. I'm just shocked they just waited till August to get around to it.
Oh, you waited this long? Oh my goodness. They had to get to the Black people first. Never mind. And for you, this one's coming out of South Carolina. Charlemagne, Representative Nancy Mace is widely expected to announce her bid for governor of South Carolina today. The Congresswoman is expected to make the official announcement. Oh, okay. So, all right.
Yeah,
so there's
it's on our website. She announced like
this morning at the Citadel. She's holding an official event regarding that. And a poll released by South Carolina Policy Council last month shows Mace receiving 16% support from Republican identifying voters, 1 point ahead of South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson. So yeah, there you go. Is she one of those leaders that you'd like to see on the Republican side come to the forefront?
I think everyone can do whatever they want, and if Nancy wants to run for governor of South Carolina, salute to her. Let her run.
All right.
The people of South Carolina will decide.
She's been up here a couple times, right?
Nancy's been up here once.
Once? Yeah.
That's right.
Year.
We know we've mentioned her a few times because she got a little rowdy with Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah.
But that's your front page news.
I know Nancy family. Me and Nancy went to high school together. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
You said she went to the all-boy high school too, or something.
No,
like that.
that's a college,
military
school.
Military school. That's right.
She's the first woman to graduate from the Citadel.
It's a all-boy high school's crazy.
Nancy gonna see
Nancy
you
get
somewhere,
busy.
Morgan,
All right,
to
Morgan.
run down on you.
All right.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. But that's your front page news. Let me get up out of here. That's your front page news for 6 a.m., 7 a.m. We're gonna get into that Charlamagne the God headlines. Y'all, yeah, and then some. So stick around.
All right. Now, if you live in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, they said there was a earthquake over the weekend. Did y'all feel it?
Yeah, right. Damn right. I felt it.
I was in Florida.
Yeah, I was at Great Wolf Lodge.
I text you.
Yeah,
I was like, you
text
feel
me.
that earthquake?
And then what I said I'm not home.
Because I didn't know what it was at first. Like sometimes it'll be thunder or like a Mack truck will drive. I'm like, ain't no goddamn Mack trucks coming down this cul-de-sac.
So did the whole house
Really?
shake? Or how did it feel? I wasn't there.
It shook enough to feel it, but it was one of those things like, did I fart too loud?
Did I fart
Did my
too loud?
stomach growl? It felt like thunder for a second. Was it a Mack truck? But I'm like, I know it wasn't no Mack truck and it ain't raining. So what was that?
Did the kids react?
No, I was the only one that felt it. And I was on an edible too, so I really was tripping. I was like,
wow,
what the
yeah.
hell?
So it probably wasn't even really that impactful.
He texted me like, did you feel that?
I felt it. I was like, it had to be an
trying to be
earthquake.
gay from real far. But did you feel that? Feel what, yo? Damn.
Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. Hit us up right now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. We are The Breakfast Club. Let's get back in some front page news. What's up, Morgan?
Oh, man, what's up? It's Charlamagne the God and all of the headlines. So in case you missed it and you've been under a rock or something, our very own Charlamagne the God sat down with Fox's My View with Laura Trump. And the two spoke about a number of things like media outlets having a balanced amount of guests from both political parties, who you would like to see run on the 2028 presidential ticket, citing Nikki Haley and the possibility of Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart ticket, social services, feeling safe, putting money in people's pockets, and just a host of other things. Now, Charlamagne the God, also rated Trump's presidency so far. Let's take a listen to those comments in part on my View on Fox with Laura Trump.
I wouldn't give it a good rating.
Why not?
Simply because, the least of us are still being impacted the worst. Like when you look at something like, the big beautiful bill, that's something that, I'm going to benefit from because of the tax bracket that I'm in. But, there's going to be so many people that's hurt by that bill. And, anything that, takes away Medicaid from people and is going to put people in a worse financial situation than, they were previously in, I'm not for it.
Yeah, so, and then you guys had a very robust conversation around that as well. Shortly after that aired, Trump, the president, posted on Truth Social, and I quote, "The very wonderful and talented Laura Trump, whose show is a big rating success, put racist sleazebag Charlamagne the God."
Oh my God, no.
Why he's allowed to use the word God describing himself. Can anyone imagine the uproar there would be if I used that nickname? He went on to say he's a low IQ individual, has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth, and knows nothing about me or what I've done, like just ending 5 wars, including a 31-year bloodbath between Republic of Congo and Rwanda, where 7 million people have died and there was no end in sight. He didn't know that, or India and Pakistan, or wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities, or closing the horrendous open border, or creating the greatest economy where prices and inflation have come all the way down, and where stupid and corrupt Joe Biden set the record for doing the worst job as president ever. But this dope Charlamagne would vote for Sleepy Joe or Kamala? ? Remember 1 year ago our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. MAGA.
Got this man explaining what he doing. Damn.
So Charlamagne, you followed that up with a post on social with a series of posts and a caption that read, "Swipe left to see how correct at Miss J Willie was on The Daily Show this past week. President Trump was better off going after Urkel, though, because he is really scraping the bottom of the black barrel coming at me. You can't go from MLK Jr., President Obama, Oprah, Beyonce, to a sleazebag named Leonard. Anyway, yes.
Leonard. It is Leonard.
It's Leonard.
It's definitely Leonard.
It's Leonard.
Leonard.
Okay. Anyway, you went on to say, yes, I believe there's a political coup happening in the Republican Party, and I appreciate Laura Trump for having me on My View last night to talk about that, amongst other things. Let's discuss. So, yeah, I mean, if this is how we got here, and I'm sure, you're going to get into it, you're going to address it.
Yeah, thank you, Laura Trump, for having me on My View. I enjoyed the conversation. I think it's ridiculous that The View has had 102 left-leaning guests and 0 conservatives. That is ridiculous to have a platform and only talk to people that you agree with. That makes no sense whatsoever to me. So thank you, Laura, for having me on. And I'll discuss all the president stuff in about an hour.
I will say this: I'm proud of Charlemagne, but he's always stood by what he stands for. He always gives his word. He never falls back. This is nothing new to him. He stands 10 toes down, and I always appreciate him for that. I did break up with him over the weekend. But yeah,
because you just don't know what
first
this
of all,
is going to do, huh?
For any MAGA people that are just tuning in to us, I'm not gay envious. Okay, so let that be. Okay, all right. So please,
I broke up with him this week, and I told him, I'll we'll talk about it later.
And he's a gay racist sleazebag too.
we take nothing serious up there, but I'm proud of Charlemagne. I'm proud of Charlemagne.
Racist sleazebag?
Always standing 10 toes down.
Racist sleazebag is crazy. We'll
crazy.
Talk about it. Sleazebag. We'll talk about it.
Racist sleazebag with a low IQ. All right, y'all, let's move on just really quickly. President Trump is not accepting the latest jobs report and has reportedly fired Labor Department statistics chief. The report says the U.S. economy added about 73,000 jobs last month, well below estimates. It also revised the May and June numbers downward by more than 200,000 jobs combined. Trump he went to social media and implied the labor statistics chief manipulated the data for political purposes and ordered the Biden appointee be fired. Now, in an interview with Meet the Press, Kevin Hassett, who is the White House economic advisor, echoed the sentiments of the president, questioning the accuracy of the numbers, adding that Trump wants to have his people in the role. Let's take a listen to his comments.
There have been a bunch of patterns that could make people wonder, and I think the most important thing for people to know is that it's the president's highest priority that the data be trusted and that people get to the bottom of why these revisions are so unreliable. The president wants his own people there so that when we see the numbers, they're more transparent and more reliable. And if there are big changes and big revisions, we expect more big revisions for the jobs data in September, for example, then we want to know why. We want people to explain it to us.
That should be the biggest concern to all Americans. Like, you cannot just get rid of people because they're not saying what it is you want them to say. If the numbers come out for jobs and the unemployment, rate is high, then you just got to own that. And you don't continue to contribute to the unemployment rate by firing the chief labor. What's the title? What's our title?
Labor statistics.
Labor statistics chief. You don't do that. Like you come out, a report comes out that says the unemployment rate is high under you, so you decide to add to it.
Secretary of Labor Lori Chavez DeRemer says she's going to look into it. Let's hear more from her.
It does cause me pause to see such large revisions, and I will take a deeper dive and do an analysis of why those numbers look the way they do.
So she also went on to say if the Fed would cut interest rates, she believes the job market would boom.
And also, too, man, you just can't you can't pee on people's head and tell them it's raining, right? Like, this is something that, Democrats would do when they would talk about Bidenomics and they would talk about the stock market being high and the GDP being high. You can say all of those things and tell people the economy is good and tell people the job market is booming. But if you ain't got no job and you looking around and everybody around you don't got no job, what's that going to tell the community? What's that going to tell people?
Yeah, unfortunately, the sentiment continues with people not having jobs because the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is shutting down after losing federal funding. The organization made that announcement on Friday after having its funding cut by Congress. The CPB has been distributing grants to public media outlets like PBS and NPR for the past 60 years. Employees were notified on Friday that most of their jobs will come to an end on September 30th. President and CEO Patricia Harrison said that in the meanwhile, the CPB remains committed to fulfilling its fiduciary responsibilities and supporting our partners through this transition with transparency and care. And lastly, the mayor of
what's going to
Cincinnati.
happen with Tiny Desk, man?
Oh, well, so Tiny Desk, there was a producer from Tiny Desk that actually released a statement basically saying that it's not going anywhere, but he is urging people to just donate and support because they're going to need that.
Gotcha.
And the mayor of switching gears to something viral that happened. The mayor of Cincinnati is saying that people are trying to racially divide his city after a viral downtown brawl caught the nationwide attention. Now, this video was posted last week and it spread across social media, showing a white man and a white woman being physically attacked by several black people. Mayor Aftab Puraval held a press event where he implored residents to reject the effort that calling for that racial divide, and he promised that those involved will be brought to justice. Also, Cincinnati Police Chief Teresa Thieke says 6 people have been charged and the investigation is ongoing. Let's take a listen to Cincinnati Mayor Puraval and Police Chief Thieke.
The racial dynamics of this fight are unavoidable, and some have cynically used the opportunity to try and divide us along racial lines. We are a proudly diverse city with a large and vibrant black community that is rich in tradition.
Through relentless work, CPD has now charged 6 individuals with felonious assault and aggravated rioting. Our investigative teams have identified 6 victims, 5 males, 1 female, each subjected to unimaginable physical violence.
Yeah, in fact, you could see in the video that someone actually got smacked with a chair. It was pretty bad. So I don't know if you guys seen that yet. And before I go, the Black Information Network, iHeart Atlanta, and the radio industry is actually mourning the loss of one of our colleagues and friends, a former employee here, John Marshall, who passed away from a heart attack at the age of 35 late last week. Of course, our thoughts and prayers and deepest condolences are with his family, friends, and anyone who had the pleasure of knowing him, in addition to his listeners, because he was, after he left us, he continued to do his radio thing. So we want to continue to uplift him and his family. That's a tragic loss for us. Wow. That's your front page news, guys. I'm Morgan Wood. Follow me on socials at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, follow at Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at binnews.com. I'm going to stick around because I got to hear what you got to say, CTG.
All right. Well, thank you, Morgan.
It ain't that serious, yo.
All right.
What's up? What am I missing here, man?
Yo, the president of the United States addressed you, yo.
He claps at everybody.
Well, now he clapped at Bay, and we'll talk about that.
I'm not your Bay,
Yo,
MAGA. Once again, MAGA
crazy,
for
yo.
all of the. I know some MAGA listens to us already, but for the new MAGA listeners, once again, Charlamagne the God is not gay. DJ Envy is.
I am
not
He's
gay.
up there with
He's
his
actually
boyfriend.
trans. If y'all really want to piss y'all off, okay?
When we come back straight off of that SummerSlam stage, Jacob Fatu will be
This is
joining
a
us.
lie. He was here Friday. Why are you lying to the people?
But he was on the stage.
Cut it out.
Oh, okay.
You're
Yes.
such a sleaze big.
Stop. With a low IQ.
Yes.
Jacob Fatu will be joining us. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.